Hello and welcome to another video. This is episode 38 of the podcast, and let's just get right into it. It has been a couple of days since I filmed the last episode, and I've just been very enthusiastic with the things that I have been making. And since there are not that many people in my private life who knit or crochet and have experience with that. So, it just hits different when you can actually talk in depth about things and people actually understand what you're talking about or understand the struggles that you faced during a project that you're working on. Yes, so having said that, I'm just very excited to get into this episode. I would like to start off with the flocon slipover by Rui Yamamuro. I think I have been calling it the flocon vest for the past couple of episodes, but it's the flocon slipover. And I have finished it. I actually blocked it yesterday, but so it's still a bit damp. So this is how it's now. Ta-da! Okay, so let's start off with the yarn. I'll go grab the leftovers. So something that I have recently started adding to, how would I call it, my project ritual is at the end I will take out my Swift right there and I will hang up the leftover yarn from the project. I don't know, it makes me feel it gives me a sense of closure, and also it kind of, how would I say it, gives me a bit of perspective again on my yarn stash. It's just very easy to store, and in the case that I might want to sell it, I have it in these neat hangs and I can make someone else happy with the yarn. So I haven't yet decided on whether or not I would like to I don't know, just put it on Marktplaats or maybe on Ko-fi. But who knows? I might have another idea where I can use this yarn again. But yeah, let me tell you for the last time about this yarn. I bought this in Japan from Itobatake. It's all leftover factory yarn. So the way that I knit up the vest is that I held all these yarns together, so 4 strands. These two are the same. They're the same. It's 100% wool with a yardage of 350 meters per 50 grams. The name is kaboucha in the color midori, which is green in Japanese. Yeah, so just a lace weight yarn. This is also, again, lace weight, the same yardage, 350 meters per 50 grams. And this one is called hannari in the color matcha, and it's also 100% wool. This is 2-ply, the other one was 1-ply yarn. And then finally I have this mohair. It's called greineppumoku. And it is, 90% Angora mohair and 10% nylon, and also lace weight 360 meters per 50 grams. As for the vest needle size, I used 5.5 millimeter needles for the body, and then 4.5 millimeters for the ribbing. All of the ribbing is twisted rib, both the knit and purl stitches, and I bound off using Italian cast off on all edges, so neck, armholes, and body. Yes, so the construction, I feel a bit silly talking about it again because I've said this so often. You start at the back, you do a couple increases, go, knit down, knit all the way to the armholes, do the shaping there, pick up stitches from the back and do a similar thing, but also the neck shaping, of course. And then you're actually supposed to connect the front and the back and then knit it in the round all the way down. The pattern originally calls for you to do a slipped ridge stitch motif at the bottom, but yeah, I actually started off doing that, but I got about 5 centimeters into that motif and it was just not looking that clean with the particular yarn combination that I had, and so I just decided to knit everything in stockinette, and that's why it turned out as this. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's also one other modification that I made. I knit the front and the back flat, and then I just seamed the edges. Honestly, I have really fallen in love with knitting flat and seaming things up because it just makes the inside of my knits also look so incredibly clean. And that's just because I don't have to join yarn somewhere mid-row. I just made sure that I started some new yarn on the sides and I just sewed them, and so at the end I just weaved everything into the seam. There's some loose pieces here, but I just need to clip that, but other than that it makes the inside look so clean. I did have to break the yarn here at some point, but yeah, I actually just need to make a tiny knot here just because the yarn is very sticky, so it's really not that big of an issue, but yeah, I just think this looks so good. So I'm very happy with it. Like I said, it is still a bit damp, but it's dry enough for me to wear it for a bit to show you how it looks on me. Yes, so this is the front and this is how the back looks. This is actually the first time that I've ever done this, like the increases on the back before. Don't know what's going on with the birds, but yeah, what I was saying, yeah, I've actually never really done this type of, how would you call it a shoulder construction? I guess you could call it that. But it was fairly straightforward. I like how it looks though. I think it's a cool detail. Aside from that, yes, I blocked it yesterday and I tried to pull the collar a bit to even it out, and I think I have succeeded with that. It doesn't really look a bit off center to me anymore. At least it's not something that really bothers me at the moment. So yeah, I'm really happy with how everything looks. I can show you where the seam is. It's right here. On the other side, it's right here. It's basically invisible because of the marbling effect of the yarn combination that I used. So it looks seamless, but isn't. Yeah, also I did actually knit the ribbing at the bottom in the round, just because I thought that it would make my life a bit easier. But yeah, very, very happy with this one. There weren't really any complex techniques, and so it was just a nice and relaxing experience, even despite taking out the motif at the bottom. Yeah, I it was just a nice experience. I would like to do or knit this pattern again and then just use one strand of yarn and then actually do the motif at the bottom, but I don't think that I would make that anytime soon though. But yeah, moving on to some summer knitwear. A while ago, a bit more than a week ago, I made a video about summer knitting patterns that I would like to make this summer. And to be quite frank, I was a bit hesitant when it came to making this video because I had previously made, I think, 2 videos with the title like patterns I would like to knit in autumn, winter, and with both of those videos I think I ended up making maybe 1 or 2 patterns per video. Even probably with the winter one I didn't make anything, and so I felt that I felt the videos to be a bit useless, if that makes any sense, because it's like, oh, I'm knitting all of these and then I end up not doing so. And for some reason I was just thinking, you know, maybe I could make a video with the patterns that I want to knit and I actually read the patterns beforehand and then explain in the video the construction of everything. And for some reason that really motivated me to get started with these projects. And so I have finished one already and I started working on the second one after, like, I made my swatch a couple of days ago, but I've actually started really working on it since yesterday. So yeah, without further ado, let me tell you about my finished tulia vest. Here it comes, here it comes. Ta-da! So yes, let me give you the specifications on this one. So yeah, the tulia vest, this is actually a free pattern in Danish by the company Mayflower, and the pattern originally calls for the rimini yarn, which I believe is something like 60 or 65% viscose and 40% acrylic, polyamide, and some type of plastic. And I decided to swap that out for a DK weight 100% cotton from Drops. This is Drops Muskat that I used. The colors are number 8, Natural, that's the contrast color, and then number 41, Wine Red. In Dutch it's Wijnrood. Sometimes the color names don't match up between English and Dutch. So yeah, just so you know, it's number 41. Yeah, and for the body I used 4.5 millimeters, and then for the edging I used 3 millimeter sock needles for the armholes, the neckline, and then for the bottom I used 4 millimeter sock needles. So let me tell you about the construction and the modifications that I made. Yes, this is a top-down piece. Yeah, okay, yeah, it is a top-down piece. You start at the back. So basically you just knit, you cast on a number of stitches, you knit all the way down to the armhole, and then it's time for the armhole shaping. Once you've done that, you then pick up stitches at the back at the top. I picked up stitches here. I don't really think you can see it all that well, but you can see the line here. So I picked up stitches, and then you just do the shaping for the neck. You attach both sleeves, both arm thingies, and then you knit straight then you would just do the same armhole shaping as you did at the back, and then you cast on a number of stitches, and then you knit all the way down in the round, and then you just do the finishing, which is just I-cord edges, yeah, all around. So modifications, not that many actually. Really the only modification that I made, well, I did make this shorter. I believe I knit the second size, and yeah, I think they told me to knit 10 centimeters longer the body than I actually did, but I wanted this to be a slightly shorter piece. So I think I knit 42 centimeters from top to bottom. Oh wait, no, from armhole. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Yep. 10 centimeters less than in the pattern. And then I also did not knit this in the round. I knit this flat again, and then I ended up seaming everything together. So from the top of my head, I'm not too sure the needle size that they required for the I-cord edges, but I first started with the neckline. I think I spoke about this last episode as well. I used 4mm for the neck, and it was just looking so wonky, and it was not neat at all. And so I decided to experiment once I had, I don't know, I had knit a bit of the bottom and had seamed the back and the front. I tried the armholes with 3mm needles, and that just made it look so much cleaner. And yeah, I was just really happy with that. So I did one armhole, then did the second one, and I just knew that I needed to take out the neck edging, I-cord edge. So I took that out, and I did that in 3mm as well. I didn't really do the neatest job attaching the I-cord, but all of them actually, but it's not something I'm too fussed about. Also, the seaming at the top was a bit weird, I think, on this side. I don't really know what happened, but yeah, you can see a bit of inconsistency here. But again, nothing I'm really concerned about. This was actually, it's weird. So, well, it's not weird, but I had a good time knitting this up. I really enjoyed the way the yarn felt in my hands. The only thing that I didn't like about this yarn was the fact that it frayed very, very much, and it was slippery. So for the knitting itself, it wasn't that big of an issue. I was using wooden needles, and everything was fine, but it was just the sides. The sides were so loose every time I added some new yarn, because my idea was actually just to not carry over the yarn. I think you can see it here a bit. I carried over the yarn at the end, because when I started off, it was just such a pain keeping the stitches, the edge, the salvage stitches, the edge stitches on my needles, because the cotton would just like slip off of the needle. So I had to carry it over, and that kind of resolved the issue. Yeah, so what else do I have to say about this piece? Of course, I completely forgot. I have to try it on and show you how it looks. So yeah, oh, also, the reason why I did end up doing 4mm needles for the bottom is just because I wanted to be able to put this over my head. The pattern also mentions that you have to make sure that your I-cord edge at the bottom is loose enough for you to actually get the piece over your head. So this is how it looks. It hits me, how would I say this? Just at my hips. Yeah, straight at my hips. This is the back, the sides. There is perhaps slight side boobage going on, but nothing too drastic, I would say. Yeah, this is actually, I think, the first time that I knit using 100% cotton, and it was an interesting experience. I have definitely, it kind of looks a bit wonky here, but yeah, there's definitely a lot of room for me to learn and get better at using this yarn, different strategies when it comes to knitting. Oh yeah, did I mention this last time? I'm not too sure, but I messed up the pattern repeat at first. So this is the correct pattern repeat. So 12, 2, 4, 2, 2, 6. And yeah, I messed it up here a bit, but I think it actually looks quite nice. I'm interested in seeing how this piece will change as I wash it and wear it. I think another thing that I would like to mention is with the I-cord. I found that if I included the carryovers, you can see the yarn being carried over here. If I included that in my I-cord, it made it very unruly and bumpy, and so I decided to leave that out. There are also some bumpy places here. Yeah, not the neatest finishing, but I'm very happy that I knit it flat because it's not very see-through, but you could definitely see if I had joined the yarn somewhere in the middle. And now it just looks really clean in that sense that, yeah, then there are no ends woven in mid-row. Also because the yarn frays so much, it would be very noticeable. So I'm very happy again with how it turned out. Now, as I was finishing up this vest, I was actually considering knitting up another one. I've been trying to reorganize my stash for a while now, and in the process of doing that, I've found a lot of tiny quantities of yarn, so anywhere between 50 to 150, 200 grams of yarn, and I set them aside for a while, and I picked a number that I felt would be suitable for summer knits. And so I've just been looking at that yarn and looking at patterns and seeing which ones I could mix and match. And I was just looking a couple of days ago and I saw this combination, and I think I would like to make this for another tulia vest. So let me just change the lighting so you can see the yarn a bit better. Yeah, so this is 150 grams. It's so cloudy here. I'm sorry. It's been so cloudy the past couple of weeks and the lighting has just been going crazy. But yeah, this is 150 grams of drops merino cotton. It's in the color natural number 1, and the yardage is 110 meters per 50 grams. So very similar to the drops muskat. Yeah, so I bought this, I think 5 years ago, something like that. I don't know why, but I think it's finally found its purpose. And then I have some Danish yarn here. This is hjertegarn's, here's the label, extrafine merino cotton. It's 50% superwash wool and then 50% cotton, and it has a yardage of 120 meters per 50 grams. So pretty similar to the white. I don't think that the discrepancy is very noticeable. Both the K weight, yes. So I was I was actually thinking of changing the construction because there were a couple of things that kind of annoyed me. Well, didn't annoy me, but I thought were a bit tricky. Picking up just 5 stitches and then knitting was kind of a pain for me because the yarn was quite slippery, and so I had a really hard time keeping a consistent tension. And then the armhole shaping. So the pattern originally asks you for a number of rows to cast on. I'm presuming the backwards loop cast on. Again, with the yarn, it was such a pain because the cast on edge was so unstable, and that made it quite hard for me to, towards the end, do the I-cord edging. So I was thinking, maybe I can knit up this vest and then start from the bottom. So knit the front and the back flat and seam everything, and then just do decreases instead of increases. I think that would make the edge way more stable. And I think it would make also decreasing here for the sleeves also way more stable. I just think it would make it easier, if that makes any sense. So I think I'm going to give that a go. I do think that I'm going to change up the color motif. So my plan was actually to do something like 6 rows of white, then 2 blue, 2 white, 2 blue, and then repeat the color pattern. I'll just have to see how it ends up, but I'm excited for that. I think that's everything I have with regards to the tulia vest. Very excited to wear this this summer. Then the next thing that I've been working on is this crochet pattern. Again, I mentioned this one as well in that video. It's sirdar 5181, and it's a crochet waistcoat. So this is actually my first British crochet pattern, and it took some time getting used to it, but it's actually not that bad. But let me tell you about the pattern. So it's from the 60s, from Sirdar, the yarn company, a UK yarn company. The pattern is a fairly simple but really nice looking waistcoat. What you do is you start off with a bunch of granny squares, and you end up with 3 long pieces of granny squares, 2 long for the front and back, and then 1 short for just the back, and then you attach it using this shell crochet motif. And then if you want, you can do the peplum skirt or peplum thingy at the bottom. I had initially planned to do that as well, but I think I'm just going to try and see how it looks without the peplum. Yeah. So that's my plan. Originally, they recommended some bulky wool weight yarn, but I decided to go for some cotton. I'm using Drops Paris. I actually found the dark green that I lost last episode. So yeah, let me tell you about the dark green. I've actually finished with this, which is why it's in a hank. It's the Dutch word is bosgroen, so forest or wood green, forest green, I'm guessing. The color number is 43. Then the light green that I already showed is wasabi, number 36. And then I'm using yellow as well, and that's number 14. So the contrast colors are these 2, the dark green and the yellow, and then the main color is the wasabi. So I think in the last episode I showed an example of the granny square. like how big it was and how it's going to look. But I actually made a mistake when making this one. The contrast yellow should be changed with the main green. So this is actually how it's supposed to look. Yeah, it's supposed to look like this. And so once all the other squares have been attached, it's just only going to be green, the wasabi green, that will be connecting everything. So yeah, last night I just felt such a strong urge to really get going with this pattern. So I ended up crocheting all the first rounds for the green. So yeah, here you have a couple. And then I started off with the yellows. Basically what happens is that once you actually crochet 3 of these squares, and then you every single time you make a new square, you instantly attach it to the the other ones, the completed ones. Yeah, so I have the 3 main ones, and then all the other ones are just going to, yeah, the other ones are going to be added here. So I'm actually going to continue after I've finished this podcast. So I'm very excited to see how it will turn out. I've said this before, but I'm not very experienced when it comes to crochet. So I'm excited to see the shell motif, how that's going to look. And yeah, I'm just very happy making this waistcoat because the colors are so fun, in my opinion. And I think I might make a couple of others because so far the pattern hasn't really proved itself to be challenging. So yeah, I'd be down to knit up, no, crochet up a couple of these. Is there anything else I wanted to say? Yeah. Oh, I'm using a 5mm hook. Yeah. And my hank just fell apart, but that's okay. Then I've got a tiny update on the Isaiah Archives collection. I haven't worked on the Inga sweater, but I did do some work on the Norma sweater. This is actually the back. So in total, you're supposed to make 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, you're supposed to make 5 of these thingies, and then the body is done. So I've only done the back. The front has yet to be completed. I haven't done anything on the front these past couple of days, but yeah, so far so good. I don't really have much to say about this, so I think in the next episode I'll go more into depth. Yeah, I really don't have much to say. I've just knit a couple of rows, that's it. Now, finally, I would actually like to talk about a Japanese vintage knit that I had started, I think, 2 months ago. I haven't done anything on it since the last time I spoke about it, but I remember that when I did last time speak about it, I didn't say all that much, and that was because I was planning on making a video for it and then releasing it during Vlogmas. But I thought, there's no harm in also talking about it on the podcast, right? So yeah, I just wanted to give some added information, and I'll just be talking about this project as I progress. So I think I've shown this book, I think once or twice on the channel, but I actually did some research today to tell you a bit more about the origins, the background of this magazine. So this is a knitting magazine, or I'll get to that later. It's from the 1950s, December 1951 to be exact, Showa 26. And the magazine is called Fujin Seikatsu. And this is actually a an addendum. So this is not the actual women's magazine, but it's just a special edition added to the December issue that includes a lot of knitting patterns. So they called it the Shingata Bokan Amimono Zenshu. So like the new style complete collection of winter knitting. If I if I yeah, I think that's correct. So I turns out that apparently there were 4 big women's magazines after the war that were very popular. So you had this one, Fujin Seikatsu, you had Fujin to Tomo. Is that correct? No, it's Shufu no Tomo. So how would I call it? Housewife's Friend. You had Fujin Kurabu, so women's club, and then you had Shufu to Seikatsu, so housewife and life. So yeah, I looked through this pattern book and found a pattern that I thought would be fun to knit up. It's actually a girl's pattern, and so I've had to make some adjustments to make it fit me. So it's this pattern right here. It's the Jugosai Shoujo ski setto. So the 15-year-old girl ski set, and the set consists of this sweater right here, the mittens, the hat. Yeah, that's it. That's the complete set, and I can show you the pattern right here. It's this page here, this one here, that gives all of the explanation. So I can tell you a bit about the construction for the sweater. I'm pretty sure I wrote out the entire I wrote out the entire instructions for the sweater, and at the time that I took a break from this project, I was working on deciphering the hat, which was going quite well. And I've looked a bit at the mittens as well. I don't think that those are going to cause me all that much of trouble. So it is a bottom-up construction with intarsia. You start off with one color, doing 2x2 rib, and then you work your way up, and then wait, I can even show you. Yeah, it's this purple piece that I showed last time, a number of episodes ago. So you start off with 2x2 rib. Yes, 2x2 rib, and you work up straight with the color, with is it the main, it's the contrast color, with the contrast color, and then you add your main color here at the center, and every row you start knitting one more stitch on each side with the main color, and so you get this V construction here. You also do some shaping at the side by increasing for a couple of rows. I think like every 6th row, something like that. Then you just do some armhole shaping. There's no shoulder shaping, but I'm not too sure if I added that. I don't think I added that. But yeah, it just goes like this, and then you essentially do the same for the front. This is the back. Yeah, you do some neckline shaping here at the back. So you do the same thing for the front, and then you sew one side together, and then the other side, there's actually supposed to be some buttons here. Yeah, I think I might actually rip this out a bit and do some shoulder shaping. Wait, did I do some shoulder shaping? Oh yeah, I actually did. Never mind. Yeah, I did. Yeah, okay, so yeah, so the original pattern didn't have any shoulder shaping, but I did add, I'm guessing, about 2 centimeters of that. Did the neckline shaping at the back. So you knit the front in the same manner, only the shaping here is a bit different. And then you seam one side together and the other side actually is supposed to have some buttons where you can open up the shoulder. I haven't really deciphered how exactly they ask you to do that. But yeah, so once that is done, you work on the sleeves also from bottom up, and you do the same thing here. Wait, is it bottom up? I think it might be, but I think I might pick up the stitches here. Sorry, it has been quite a while since I actually looked at the pattern. But the thing that I thought was really cool about this design was that you had these cool thingies, right? You have these cool thingies, motifs that are not only on the sweater but on the top of the hat and also on the mittens. And I was really intrigued because I was just wondering how one would do this. So apparently you're supposed to crochet a specific type of cord. I looked it up online and I found a blog that explained all of that, and then you just sew it, you shape it into the shape it's supposed to be, and then you sew it down. I did some further research into it, and they're supposed to represent snowflakes. I don't know if they are specific to Japanese culture, the shapes, but there was a specific word for it in the pattern. But yeah, I'll do some more research and talk more extensively about the pattern once I actually finish it and make a vlog for it. But yeah, it's been really cool. I'm very proud of myself that I even managed doing this. This is also my first vintage pattern that didn't come in my size. Actually, a lot of, I've said this before, but a lot of the Japanese patterns, even the adult women patterns, don't come in my size. They're either one size or two sizes too small for me. But yeah, I have to make some adjustments, but they are of a minimal level. However, I've also seen some cute kids patterns, so I'll fully have to grade up those once I make some time to work on those. So I think that would be also interesting to document. But I think that's everything for today. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you soon in another video. Bye bye!